Okay, we are here with Brother Omar from atheistcrowd.com. Okay, atheistcrowd is a Islamic crowdfunding platform.
Correct.
Okay, first off, why did you decide to do this?
Okay. When we first started Atheist 2 years ago, the initial objective at that time, which is still the same main objective today, is to provide an investment product. An investment product straight to the economy for Muslims. Basically, we have Islamic banking and all that, which is very good, which is great, and I'm very supportive of that. But nowadays, people want to go direct. Right? You want to see where your money is going to, who you're supporting, what you're supporting. Right? You want it to be transparent and clear, and of course online. So that's the beauty of crowdfunding. We match people to projects. So the initial objective at the start was to provide high quality, real world projects and campaigns for Muslims to invest in. That was our original objective.
So the main, like, many people like familiar with Kickstarter, but Kickstarter is a bit more like a reward crowdfunding, right?
Yes.
So this one is like equity crowdfunding, right?
No. So for investment-based crowdfunding, typically they would say that there's two types. Equity-based, that means you buy shares or stocks in companies, or debt-based, that means it's temporary financing. Like what we do is technically considered debt-based, but it's Islamic in nature, meaning that it's not a loan. It's profit sharing or revenue sharing.
More like joint venture kind of stuff.
Joint venture, but without equity or ownership. Temporary financing to get profits, shared profits or shared revenue.
So it's like based on projects.
Based on projects.
Based on project, like this
so
is
like I have a cafe I want to set up, right? Then I have good track record. I have 10 cafes doing very well. I want an 11th cafe, and I need 300,000 ringgit, and I'm willing to share 30% of my profits in the first 2 years. You know, so that's how it works.
Oh, so this is like quite the classic mudarabah.
Yes, exactly.
Classic mudarabah. Punya model like, you know, like during the Prophet's time and they want to go trading like across the desert. You know, they have the mudarib and the rob al-mal and everything.
Correct, exactly. So it's very pure, it's very clean. Which also contributes to part of the challenge.
Because we're talking about here the challenges, because the challenges in the current, you know, financial system, the world financial system, that the one that is ethical is not legal, but the legal one is not really ethical.
Sometimes,
So how do you get about it? Because, you know, by in the current regulatory framework, what you're doing now is like, you know, can be easily red flagged by the central bank and everything. Because, you know, people will say you can be charged with illegal deposit taking and whatnot, and then even furthermore cross country, you know, you can easily be slapped with amla. So how do you get around that?
Well, there are many challenges, and part of the challenge is regulatory. Now maybe I can touch on a little bit more about the earlier point about that I mentioned about the challenge to bring to market. Maybe you'll ask me again, but I'll just touch on that.
In the first, how do you validate the product itself before? Because first you need to validate the product, and then later on you figure out how to do it.
Correct.
So how did you?
So when we first started, I was very lucky because my partner, who's my close friend from college days, he has a law firm in Singapore called Abdul Rahman Law Corporation. So they are very strong in Islamic finance and the new forms of business, SMEs and new startups. So he structured for us a format where there's no issue of legality. Right? We are a crowdfunding platform that does only matching. We don't collect money, no money goes through us and all that. So that makes it much easier to start. We work within the boundaries of the existing legal system in Singapore. So we just start in a very, very clean manner. We don't collect any money. The money goes direct to the project and everything. That's how we started. But of course, that's not sustainable in the long run. Right? As we grow bigger and bigger, we need certain forms of infrastructure and support. So we started with that. We had a very, very basic website. Our first website, honestly, when I first started, I spoke to a few different people. and everybody said don't waste your time. This is not going to work. I mean, you hear that a lot, lah, right?
Yeah.
Everybody told me, right? And even those who are supportive of Islamic finance told me, don't waste your time. So I told my partner Abdul Rahman, say, man, I believe this thing can work. I need your support for the legal side. I will do everything else. Okay? So we roped in a few other friends and we started. I built a $200 web builder website at the start, and that was it. A static website. I have no tech background, right? So with limited design skill, I built a very basic website and brought it to market, and people responded. Right? So we realized, people are okay. We thought no guarantees and all that, people not interested, but people were interested.
But your offer is transparent. So
yeah, it's very transparent. So alhamdulillah, there are people interested in this concept, and once we had the working model, we still didn't have money, but once the model was proven to have some traction and some interest from the market, then we got friends who could build proper platforms to help us out, until of course eventually we managed to get some funding.
So what was your first project?
The first project?
The first project under Itis Club. That kick off the whole thing.
At that time we were called Club Etis. Now we have rebranded. We're called Etis Crowd. Etis is ethical and Islamic put together. So at that time we started with two types of projects. One was real estate and one was online businesses in Singapore. So the first few online businesses that we worked with in Singapore were our friends. We raised some money for their projects. They had good database and followers. So because of their database and followers, our database also grew. But we realized that people were interested in real estate. So that's why we pivoted towards real estate, social impact real estate, which is what we focus on now.
Funding. How did you get funding from what I say, not really a traditional VC but because they were like spin off from a legal firm.
That's
so how that comes about?
No, funding is something that all the startups like talk about, right? How to get funds, how to get funds. In my opinion, you can definitely get funds as long as you have some basic track record and you show the investors that you know how to make the money roll properly. We started with no resources. My partners have their own resources individually, but in the company we have no resources at the start. But in our second year, we operationally broke even. Right? So when you go to investors, whether it's traditional or VC, and you say, look, we broke even already, our cash flow is positive already, we have a lot of demand, we need money to grow. Not to prove our point, not to prove that we work.
You have proved your point.
Correct. So once you tell them that, look, we already know how to make it work, we need to make it bigger. Right? We already have the basics done, we need money to boost it. Investors are much more open to that. Oh, you already have money, you're not needing my money to survive, you need money to grow. Investors like that. So we did approach. For us, it's tricky because the vision, the bigger vision is Islamic. It's religious in nature, it's faith-based. You go to VCs in Singapore, they're not interested in So the challenge is, how do we get traditional or rather non-Islamic or non-Islamic focused VCs to understand what we do? We speak to them in a language that they understand. Right? We tell them, look, religion-based business, we find statistics, we show them. Religion-focused business have higher loyalty, have higher retention, customer retention rate, have higher this, has better that. Then they say, oh, okay, so it's business, the religious element is a plus point to the business. Then they understand. Right? We cannot talk to them based on faith. Oh, we want to develop the Ummah. Like, what's the Ummah? Umar, what's the Ummah? So, you have to change your language depending on who you speak to. But the traditional law firm, so we had one VC, Quest Ventures. They are one of the big, strong ones in Singapore and right now also in Malaysia. And China, they're very big in China. So they have some shares. And the other major investor was Azmi Law. Azmi Law subscribed to the vision, the religious vision, what we want to do, which is essentially to further develop the economy for Muslims. Right? We don't exclude non-Muslims, of course, but it's tailored for Muslims.
It's more like tailored for Muslim, but
anybody can join.
Anybody can join because as the product is halal, and halal.
Just like anyone can eat halal food.
That's the same goes. Same goes with Islamic finance products, right?
Correct.
Because so how do you get acquainted with Azmi Global?
Through referral.
Through
So
referral.
I always say in the startup world, it's all about referrals. People trust other people's referral. You can, of course, go cold
Call.
emails, cold calls. It can work, of course, right? There's no harm trying. But usually introductions work better.
Yeah.
How I see what's very important, this is my advice to startups that are in a new area that's just being developed, especially when it's sensitive to the regulators. As much as possible, show the regulators that you're a market leader. Show the regulators that you know what you're doing and you know the way forward, and then try to be their friend. Be their friend meaning that they need you, or they want you to give them input, so they know how to regulate. Right? So it's not an us against them scenario. It's we want to help you regulate the industry that we are building. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So in Singapore, we did not manage to do that because we were a bit late in Singapore. There are much bigger crowdfunding platforms. In Malaysia, we were early considered, right? So when we first started, we already started engaging with the Securities Commission. Right? We went to their talks, we gave presentations at their talks and stuff like that. So now we are expanding to Indonesia. And Indonesia, there's little regulation for crowdfunding. So we are already starting to talk to the regulators there. Recently, we set up Ethis Ventures. Right? Do you mind if I share about that?
Yeah. I just about asking what's next.
Okay, so what's next? A lot of things are next. It's very exciting. Inshallah, we are launching numerous platforms in the next few months. Now, so how things are structured is we have Ethis Ventures, right, which is the parent company and brand from Singapore. Ethis Ventures provides support for new and upcoming Islamic crowdfunding platforms within our circle. So it's like a venture builder model. We provide the platform, the technology, we provide consultation and expertise, we provide basic digital marketing and basic administrative support. Right? So Ethis Crowd, the real estate platform, is an example of a soon to be successful platform. I wouldn't say it's successful yet. Okay, but Alhamdulillah, it's doing well. We have wakafworld.com launching this month. And Wakaf World will be the world's first cash wakaf crowdfunding platform on a global scale. Thereafter, we have a few other platforms coming up. Interesting ones may be something like we're doing Nasheed Crowd, Nikah Crowd. So those who want to get married, they will need money for their honeymoon, they can get some funding. Those who budding talents in Nasheed, they need some funding to publish a single or to do some recording. You can do crowdfunding for that. Right? So we're going into many different types of crowdfunding, but working with other people. We're working with partners within our circle.
You did capital boost as well, right? Capital boost, right? For SMEs.
Correct.
So why do you factoring?
Something like factoring, but not technically factoring.
But similar.
We look for businesses with strong receivables and then provide funding based on the fact that they have receivables coming in. So that's good because SME funding is an issue.
Yeah, because cash flow issues.
In so many countries, right?
So many countries. Right?
As long as the company is growing and has good deals coming on board, good invoices and cash flow coming in, then inshallah we will be able to provide the funding.
Okay, because in my experience, like that particular deal, because my friend, they have to do it like manually, manually go to our lawyer friend, and then my lawyer friend get investors coming in, like very time consuming because.
Very time consuming.
But then he need it like then. Do you guys plan to do venture into Takaful or something like that?
Well, that was supposed to be a top secret project, but now it's not so secret anymore, I guess.
Because I can smell already.
We are looking into it lah.
Yeah.
We have not started yet, but we're looking into it. I think that's also something very interesting.
Yeah.
But a lot of considerations from the regulator side. So
because I think there's a whole new challenge.
Takaful P2P, nobody's doing it. Somebody should do it soon.
Because
somebody else also, it's fine.
Because some basic working model actually has been done by some church groups in US. Actually, some very basic P2P, insurance pool.
InsurTech is growing very fast. Right? P2P insurance and so on. But I don't know whether anybody's working on it, but Takaful P2P, nobody has done it yet. So step by step, we want to build up the entire ecosystem. So we have good projects to invest in, real estate as well as SMEs. Then we have wakaf, so people who want to give endowment donations, right? And that, of course, some of the wakaf money can also be used to subsidize or to flow into projects with a social impact. So let's say we build affordable housing. So we have the crowd coming in to invest in affordable housing in Indonesia, investment. In that estate, there's a mosque.
Yeah.
So wakaf crowdfunding can go to the mosque.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're trying to build an ecosystem, not just commercial, but there's also social. And then we support talents, right? Nasheed and so on.
Alright, I think we wish you all the best. We wish you all the best and hope to catch up with you soon.
Right.
Maybe next time we come over to Singapore.
Okay, inshallah. Inshallah.
Okay.
Thank you, brother.
Okay. See you again.
Inshallah.